Take your mind into the wonderful world of physical, emotional, psychological, and spiritual wellness. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Kinetic Hour. Conversations with you and guests. With your host, Kenan Wesley Mason. That's me. All right, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to another edition of the Kinetic Hour. I am your host, Kenan Wesley Mason. Welcome one, welcome all. As we are streaming live at this late hour, late night edition of the Kinetic Hour, as we're streaming live on Instagram, streaming live on Facebook, and streaming live on LinkedIn. So welcome to all three platforms, whether it's one person or 1,000 people or 10,000 people. Thank you for tuning in as my voice will continue to permeate. Go to my YouTube channels. There's always two. Go to my YouTube channels. One is the Kinetic Hour right here, the Kinetic Hour, Kennetic, the Kinetic Hour. Leave your comments, subscribe, click thumbs up, click the notifications so you're notified with every episode that I post on YouTube. We go live here first, then I go into post-production. But thank you all for tuning in. My YouTube channel, the Kinetic Hour. My other YouTube channel is Kinetic Fit and Wellness Info. Kinetic Fit and Wellness Info for everything health related. Physical health, mental health, you name it. Today, or this evening now, as the day is almost coming to an end, but today we celebrated the day of acknowledging Veterans Day here in America. Veterans Day, because we're in political season right now, and the military is a huge topic of discussion for a number of reasons, especially with the new administration coming in, because, of course, as we all know by now, that this man right here, this man right here will be the next president of the United States. Oh, he got his wish. He got his wish. And, you know, congratulations to the Donald for his win or his appointment, him being appointed to being the next commander or dictator in chief. Yeah, he finally got his way for a number of reasons. There's so much that I can talk about when it comes to this entire election cycle, which I will go into over the weeks and couple of months to go before he is inaugurated. But I want to go back to the veterans just for a few minutes. In the military, the veterans in the military, because I just showed the new president-elect. He's gone back and forth about the military. You know, he praises specific people over here being in the military. Then he totally dismisses other people over here in the military, picking and choosing who he likes in the military according to who sticks by him and his words. But Veterans Day is today, And I'm going to post something here that I saw earlier today. I'm going to put this up here on the screen because I saw this and it made a lot of sense. It made a lot of sense. So I'm going to put this up on the screen here. Matter of fact, I'm going to make it a little bigger so everyone can see it. So this is from Earl Henrik, who I just happen to know personally. We grew up together way back in the day in Long Beach, California. But he's a military veteran, U.S. Army, along with his wife, Allison, who's also a military veteran. They met in the military, U.S. Army. And he puts right here, it's truly not Veterans Day if veterans are working on these days off without extra pay. It's just another day for the non-veterans. Screw it all. I'm going to read that again. It's truly not Veterans Day if veterans are working on these days off without extra pay. It's just another day for the non-veterans. Screw it all. And that's from Earl Henrik, former military personnel, U.S. Army, United States. Right? Be all you can be. That's what they persuade. That's how they persuade people to go into the United States Armed Services. You can be all you can be. Well, as I take this down, and yeah, I knew I almost called him by his nickname because his middle name is, well, we call him Freddie. Oh, and he's gonna see this. But we grew up together. His mother and my mother were really good friends, and their family moved out here from Nashville. They came from the sticks, you know, redneck country. And he doesn't mind me saying that. So don't even go there. But yes, they came from Nashville, Tennessee. He and his mother and his father. And we knew them quite well. And we all became close friends along with other children in the neighborhood. And to this day, we've still remained close. He still calls my mother and speaks to her on occasion. We've remained close, and I got his permission to share this because it made a lot of freaking sense. Because there are a lot of military veterans that are working today. Military veterans, the ones that are protecting this country every single day, and they have to work. So now the question is, because we have a new administration coming in, will the Donald, because remember when the Donald was in office, he said he spent $2.1 billion on military infrastructure. $2.1 billion on the military because he wanted to have the mightiest military on the planet. So now the question is, will Donald spend some of that money and give it to the veterans by declaring that all veterans get the day off on Veterans Day too? Just like, you know, certain employees didn't have to work today, right? Schools didn't have to go to school today. It's Veterans Day. So is he willing to sign or have legislation pass through and pass to where all military veterans here in the United States get the day off on Veterans Day because they put their lives on the line to protect the United States of America, right? From enemies, foreign and domestic. That's what they sign up to do. And because of that, they should get the day off on Veterans Day. Not just Memorial Weekend. They should get those days off too. So is he willing to do that? Since he loves the military, he praises certain people in the military and then he spits on the others. And this is the commander-in-chief elect. Oh gosh, I got so much stuff here that I can talk about, because I want to talk about money and politics and the power that goes along with it. I'm going to start with something small and then I'm going to go big. So I'm going to start here with this report here. Some of you may have seen it, but I'm going to go here. And again, a lot of you may have seen this already. This report right here, Amber Rose, who spoke at the Republican convention, being a Trump supporter. I never bet. Says I never bet. Matter of fact, says I never bet, but this feels right. Who are you betting on? And she put up $15,000 to bet that the Donald would win the White House. She put up 15 grand and bet it on the Donald to win the White House. Ay, ay, ay. So, and then I'm going to show you this here. And the company that she bet through is a company right here called Kalshi. If I'm saying that right. Yeah, Kalshi. That's the company that not only her, but anyone that's in the know could put a wager on who's going to win the White House, which is what she did. So I'm going to put this up. I'm going to put this up because right here, as you can see, it says Amber Rose is casting her vote for president with pride and not just at the polls. Matter of fact, I'm going to read it from right here. Amber Rose is casting her vote for president with pride and not just at the polls. Aside from publicity, endorsing the campaigning for Republican nominee Donald Trump, and this was before he was president-elect. The TV personality also revealed that she placed a monetary bet in favor of the convicted felon winning the 2024 election. This is from Yahoo Entertainment. The College Hill Celebrity Edition reality star took to X, formerly Twitter, on Monday, November 4th, with the bold admission, posting a screenshot of her $15,000 wager on election betting platform Kalshi, which is said to return a $28,301 payout should the former president win. So we know what the end result with that was. So why would she put up that much money for the Donald to win? 15 grand, 15 G's she put up and got double the return. Got double the return. So did she know something that we didn't? I mean, talk about insider trading, right? Insider trading. You know, people talk about Nancy Pelosi and her husband, because, you know, her husband is a big stock guy as well. Insider trading. He knows the perfect time to buy and the perfect time to sell. Well, did Amber Rose get tipped off on something that the rest of the general public didn't know? For her to put up $15,000 for the Donald to win? And she got double the payout back? Just a question. Just a question. What did she know? Oh gosh, what else is going on? Again, talking about money and power and politics. Money and power and politics. The Donald has already appointed certain people into the White House. He has the first person that was announced was his new chief of staff. Her name is Susie Wiles. Susie Wiles. Because Republicans right now, they're literally cutting each other at the knees to get selected for some position of power. Because they know how gullible the Donald is. So they're all jockeying for position, scratching and kicking and fighting, so they can get the best position and seats in the House. So Susie Wiles, who is reported to be the daughter of the late football announcer Pat Summerall, and there's reports on her. Anyone can go and look them up. Obviously, she's been around for quite some time. She worked with the Reagan administration on a mild scale, but nonetheless, she was there. So she's been around for quite some time in the political field. So this will be her first major position, at the appointment of the Donald. And a couple of other people that have been announced. This one here, the one that I want to discuss, is his name is Tom Homan or Homan. He's going to be appointed as the border czar. The border czar. And just today, prison stocks went up. When he was announced, prison stocks went up. So I'm going to go here. Prison stocks went up. So now, why would the prison stocks go up after Tom Homan is announced as the border czar? The border czar. Let me see if I can pull this up here. Oh, there it goes. There we go. So this is from Forbes.com. This is from Forbes. And the headline reads, "These stocks are outperforming Tesla as the biggest Trump trade winners." As the biggest Trump trade winners. And I'll just read a few lines here. Tesla, maybe the highest profile stock market winner over the last week. But there are several stocks which have overperformed or outperformed the Elon Musk-led car company thanks to similar optimism about macro conditions under the incoming administration. And here's where it gets good, because stock markets or the stock in the prison system has gone up. So it reads right here. Let me see if I can get it in the... Come on, there we go. So here it says, why prison or private prison stocks are up so much. Why are prison stocks up so much? Boosting core, civic, and Geo Group stocks further Monday was Trump's appointment of Tom Homan as his border czar, with the former acting ICE director and advocate of a quote humane end quote but quote necessary mass deportation operation end quote. In a conference call last Thursday, Geo Group chairman George Zoley said he expects the government to fund 70,000 to 100,000 beds in ICE detention centers, roughly double the 41,500 beds now funded. Geo Group can up its operational ICE definition center or detention center beds from 13,000 to 31,000 by next year. Forecasts Brendan McCarthy, an analyst at independent research firm Sidoti. McCarthy projects $3 billion in revenue from Geo Group in 2025, a 24% jump from its blended 2024 sales. $3 billion. That's projected. 3 billion dollars in revenue for Geo Group in 2025. That's what's projected. So, which means oh gosh, which means that there's going to be a lot of people, not the people that voted for Donald Trump. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to be making a lot of money over the next couple of years because of the administration that's coming in, investing in the private prison system. The private prison system. And the private prison system obviously makes a ton of money creating criminals or making criminals out of non-criminals. Right? Making criminals out of non-criminals. The crime being people coming here for greater opportunity. That's been the crime, or that's the crime that's going to be cast upon people. And unfortunately, there's going to be an overabundance of people in these detention centers. Obviously, if $3 billion is projected, that means a lot of money is going to be made via the private prison system. It's like a pipeline, and they're creating it. Why? Because that's what you voted for. And none of that money is going to go to the voters. None of that money is going to go to the voters. Or possibly a small portion of it through maybe a stimulus like what we got during his first administration. Possibly. But yeah, $3 billion projected just in 2025 alone. That's how much they're gearing up to round up immigrants, right? Because we're fearful of immigrants. We don't want people coming to America to create opportunity for themselves, because the collective consciousness is that they're all coming here to create mass home invasions, right? They're coming here to terrorize you and your neighbors, right? That's what they're coming to do. They're crossing the border so they can terrorize you. That's what they want you to believe. Have there been people that have lost their lives due to immigrant individuals? Yeah, I'm not going to deny it. but it's not in the numbers that they want you to believe. I mean, this has been happening for decades. This is nothing new. This is nothing new. The amount of crime versus the amount of people coming here for greater opportunity, we're talking apples and oranges. We're talking apples and oranges. So for those people that were born here, for those that were born here, but one or maybe both of your parents weren't born here, then that means all of you got to go. All of you. If you were born here and your parents weren't and your grandparents weren't, but they've been here contributing to the expansion of America, they're going to be leaving too. That's what's about to happen. And they could possibly round up your 85-year-old grandmother in a detention center. That's what's about to happen. Why? Because that's what supposedly America voted for. Supposedly. Because I've told you time and time again that presidents are not elected. But they're going to milk the system through the private prison system. The prison system pipeline. The prison system pipeline, because that's what it is, and that's what's about to occur within the next 90 days. Money, power, and control. Money, power, and control within politics. Within politics. And right now, there are many people. I mean, families are in conflicts right now over this election cycle. I mean, families are literally being ripped apart over this election cycle. I mean, this is how vicious it's getting between families. I heard one family, there's a few couples there. It was reported that a few families are filing for divorce, or couples. They're filing for divorce. They're not having family gatherings for Thanksgiving coming up. They're not having certain family members over for Christmas. Why? Because of the way that they voted. Because they either voted for Kamala Harris, or because they voted for Donald Trump, or because they didn't vote for Kamala Harris, or because they didn't vote for Donald Trump. I mean, literally families are being like playing tug of war with the family. Families are playing tug of war over this election cycle. This is how ridiculous it's become, and it's going to escalate. Because if this is happening, it hasn't even been a week. It hasn't even been an entire week. And we see families at each other's throats over this voting cycle. It's amazing. It's amazing. And it's amazing the news coverage and how many people in politics are playing the blame game, or that's what they want you to believe on the news. And that it's finger pointing. You know, it's this person's fault that Kamala Harris didn't win. It's Joe Biden's fault that Kamala Harris didn't win. It's he should have got her in sooner. He should have left earlier. All of these excuses, right? Then you have people on the Republican side on Fox News. They're chiming in. They're still angry. They're still angry. I mean, why are the MAGA and Trump supporters always angry and hostile and have such the hostile attitude? It's amazing. It's just an election. It's politics, right? But it appears that politics has literally, on both sides, gotten that deep into people's emotions. I mean, it's literally ripping families apart to where they're not going to be having the holidays together because of how they voted or didn't vote, or because they didn't vote for the right person, or they voted for someone different this time for whatever reason. And now the families are arguing with each other and hanging up on each other and cussing each other out through the internet, family chats, right? That's how bad it's gotten. And this is politics because people choose to remain in the matrix. In the matrix. That is great. So you see all the news coverage. And I've always said it doesn't matter who you watch. I mean, there's some people that only watch CNN. There's people that only watch Fox and Newsmax. There's people that only watch MSNBC. Right? Those are the big three with cable news, 24-hour cable news. And, people are finding out that, people are starting to find out certain things about government now that the Donald is in office. They're starting to get a real huge learning curve on how politics truly works. And yeah, it's just amazing how so many people are at odds with each other over this election cycle. But again, it's not surprising because this is what politics does. It's the emotional roller coaster. And it's all very well constructed by those that are in the military, whether they're elected or non-elected officials. What some people call the shadow government, the people that you don't see. I mean, you see people like Elon Musk and high-profile billionaires. Elon Musk helped to fund the Donald's campaign. So is he going to appoint him to a certain position? Is he going to take over NASA all of a sudden? I mean, you just have people that that help to fund the political machine. You have people that help to fund it. You have people that help to fund it. You have people that help to write the legislation because it helps their corporations to prosper and expand. Whether it's here in the States or whether they expand it overseas and give opportunities to people overseas to manufacture their goods and services. So everyone is involved. Everyone is involved to a certain degree. Or there are certain people in this echelon that are involved. Billionaires. Because they have invested interest in what happens in politics. There's a movie. There's a movie that I saw. Well, first, I want to highlight two movies in this episode. I'm always referencing certain movies because they kind of mimic reality. I have two movies here. One that you might want to check out if you haven't already is a movie called Shirley. It's a movie about the late great Shirley Chisholm, who ran for president. She was the first woman to run for president back in 1972. And if you watch that movie, I can just imagine what Kamala Harris may have gone through just in her short time being the front runner for the president on the Democratic side. Shirley Chisholm, being that this was 50 years ago, Shirley Chisholm went through similar, if not worse, conditions and treatment And she, like Kamala Harris, well educated, was well liked by all cultures, without without condition, without bias, without prejudice. And as opposed to the Donald, he only likes you if you like him. And there, there's no gray area. But Shirley Chisholm, she ran for president, ran the most honest campaign that she could. And in the end, she was not only backstabbed by her own party, but she was backstabbed by her own people. That's how dirty politics is. That's how dirty politics is. So the movie Shirley, starring Regina King playing Shirley Chisholm, you should check it out because it pretty much mimics. Again, we don't know all the inside scoop of the daily happenings on the inside with Kamala Harris because none of us were there, or very few of us were there. I know I wasn't there, but I can just imagine what she went through, uh, doing the best that she could to run the best campaign that she could under the circumstances. Shirley Chisholm did the same thing. She had a lot of different cultures to help her in becoming president, and she was starting to gain a lot of traction. And this was back in 1972 when oh gosh, I can't even think of his name right now. Um, Slips my mind now. But one of the I think he was either a governor, or I think he was a governor. He was there was an assassination attempt on his life. Um, I want to say his name was McGovern or McCarthy. I can't think of his last name. I may have both of them wrong, but she went to go see him in the hospital. Even though he was a hardcore and talked that same old talk, that the same old talking points that have not changed in 50 years. And she still went to go see him in the hospital. And it changed him. It changed him. It changed his view of her as a human being. Um, and he kind of changed his tone from that point on. His views changed. His views changed. So that's a movie that you might want to check out, Shirley Chisholm, or the movie Shirley. The next movie that I'm going to highlight is a movie that I just saw last night. I saw it last night, and I hadn't seen the movie in probably over 10 years. And it's a comedic spoof on politics and how politics operates on the inside. It's a comedy spoof, but when I saw it last night, it was pretty much, it was just telling everything that's literally happening right now and how politics works. The movie is called Head of State. The movie's called Head of State, starring Chris Rock. It was released in 2004. It was released in 2004 when George Bush Jr. was just starting his second term as president. And or he was the president-elect for him to do a second term. And that movie is a pretty accurate comedic spoof on how politics works. And it just goes to show you how dirty politics is on both sides. On both sides. When things happen in politics, if you're a hardcore Republican, you think everything is happening because of the Democrats. Literally everything. If you're a hardcore Democrat, you think everything is happening because of the Republicans. Everything that's bad in America is happening because of Republicans. If you're a hardcore Democrat. and vice versa, as I just explained. Uh, One thing that I've learned is that both sides are equally responsible and have been equally responsible since the Civil War, or since the end of the Civil War. And I already talked about the movie Civil War a few episodes back, and how America, there's a possibility that something similar to that movie can happen here in America, because this political cycle has gotten so deep into the emotions of the individual. So, Head of State, Chris Rock, check that movie out, especially now, 20 years later. And some things were in that movie that I just didn't see until last night. Just some little tedious stuff. I was like, oh, wow, I did not see that 20 years ago. And it made a lot of sense. It made a lot of sense. Politics is a well-oiled machine, and it will remain that way as long as the people keep feeding the beast. As long as the people keep feeding the beast, politics is always going to be an up and down mind roller coaster. Always. Because in a two-party system, you'll never be able to please everyone. Ever. Ever. That's why Ralph Nader called it a two-party dictatorship. You're never going to be able to please anyone or everyone. Even if there was an independent president, which we could have had back in 1992 when Ross Perot ran. And he was gaining traction because he started revealing certain things about government and about economics and about foreign policy that William Jefferson Clinton and George Bush Sr. didn't want revealed to the general public. Why? Because they belong to the same echelon groups. And Ross Perot didn't at that time. I mean, George Bush Sr., he was the head of the CIA at one time. William Jefferson Clinton, being the Rhodes Scholar that he is, he's a member of the Trilateral Commission. So they all know stuff, and they know all the loopholes. Why? Because they created them, being in the groups that they're in. So they know how to get into the emotions of the average citizen, the general public. They know how to get into their emotions, including the Donald. I mean, this is why the Donald uses third and fourth grade education verbiage, because he knows that's how simple it is to get into the minds of the general public. I mean, he literally uses a fourth grade speech pattern. I mean, that's how effective he's been at getting into the minds of his followers. So will they end up being in for a rude awakening once he gets into office? That remains to be seen. That remains to be seen. I don't really make predictions here. I just give commentary on what's going on. Because I don't take sides, because both sides are guilty as charged. Both sides. Because Republicans and Democrats have been in charge of America. They've been in charge of America exclusively, again, since the Civil War. I mean, you had the Federalist Party and the Whig Party once upon a time, but those days have been done for well over almost 200 years. Almost 200 years. Those parties don't exist anymore. So now we just have Republican and Democrat. That's it. And then every other cycle, you may get an independent that might make a little bit of noise, right? I haven't voted since 2012. That was the last time that I voted for a presidential candidate. That's it. And it was Gary Johnson, former Republican governor of Arizona, turned libertarian. That was the last person I voted for in 2012. And from there, I just made a decision that I'm going to vote for me from now on. I'm going to vote for me. I'm going to be my biggest supporter. Whether anyone chooses to support me or not, I'm going to support me. Right? I'm going to govern me. And, it's been working out. I'm still alive and well. Right? I'm still alive and well. So we'll see. We'll see how things pan out. Um, Before I sign off here, I'm going to put this up, this last thing here. I saw this and I thought this was pretty interesting. Let's see. This will be the last thing, and then I'll sign off for this episode. I'm going to put this up here because I thought this was pretty interesting. Because people say that they love this country so much and believe that we're taking the country back as if someone took it from us. You have stuff like this, or what they call memes. You have memes like this. If Trump is not your president, then this is not your country. So move. If Trump is not your president, then this is not your country. So move. So move. Damn it, if you don't like it, move. I mean, that's the attitude of the average Trump supporter. If you don't like it, move. You can get the hell out if you don't like it. That's the attitude. You didn't see anybody from in the Joe Biden that voted for Joe Biden say, "Oh, if you don't like it, you can get the hell out." You didn't hear that. But you have stuff like this right here. If Trump is not your president, then this is not your country. As if all of us have to be in compliance and agree with who's been chosen to be the commander in chief. So if you dare to have a different opinion, then that means that you need to move. That means I need to move, because he's not my president. He's not my president. I didn't vote for him. Joe Biden's not my president. I didn't vote for him. He's no more my president than the Donald. I was born here. I was born here. I was born at Kaiser Permanente in Harbor City, California. So I'm a citizen of this country. So I don't have to move anywhere. I don't have to move anywhere, whether I like the Donald or not, whether I like Kamala Harris or not, whether I like JD Vance or not, whether I like Tim Walz or not. Doesn't matter. I'm still a citizen. I don't have to move. And I don't have to like the fact that Donald's the president. I don't have to like the fact if Kamala Harris was president. In America, I'm entitled to do that. Just like everyone was entitled to vote for the Donald. And it's okay. It's okay. We don't have to have such the attitude. If you don't like it, you can just leave. But this is the consciousness. This is the consciousness of people that voted for the Donald. You don't like it, just move. Well, I'm not moving. And I'm still going to make commentary about the Donald when it's necessary. And anyone else that's in the political field, anyone else, I don't discriminate. I don't discriminate. Republican or Democrat, doesn't matter to me, because I have no allegiance to either one. Zero. And there's so much more that I can talk about along these lines, and about these subjects. I said I was going to talk about RFK and all of his health proposals, and I'll do that on the next episode, because today is Veterans Day, so I definitely wanted to talk about that and give some more insights on the money portion of how all of this is going to perpetuate over the next 4 years, and who's going to benefit. Who's going to benefit? And to me, it looks like the people that are going to benefit off the top are the people that are going to be appointed to all of these positions in the White House. They're the ones that are going to benefit first, not the voters, because the voters didn't put Donald Trump in the office. The Electoral College did. And those within the shadow government that make the decisions on who's going to go in. That's what the movie Head of State was about. Oh, gosh. I'm going to end it right there. Go to my YouTube channel, subscribe, click thumbs up, leave your comments. Tell me what you think. If you think the prison system is one big scam, the private prison system, if you think that this whole political system is a scam, there's reports, and I'll just end with this. There's reports, and if anything else comes of it, I'll, of course, bring it to the public. But there's reports coming up that possibly that there may be a case against the Trump campaign organization, and possibly Donald Trump too. Possibly, I don't know. And possibly Elon Musk too, because allegedly there's been word that a possible computer company was created, or a satellite company, or computer satellite company was created to count votes through satellite feed into the voting machines. And there have been a few computer geniuses, people that specialize in computer programming, have come forward to explain what Elon Musk possibly created, because he knew that the Donald was going to win hours before it was announced publicly through his computer technology, because Elon Musk, he's the tech person, or he's one of the big tech people. And so there may be, coming down the pipeline, there may be some reports about possible technical or technological voter fraud. Possibly, and I'm saying possibly because nothing solid has come to the forefront as of yet. But there have been a few people that have come forward to say that, yes, Elon Musk created a software or a satellite that was able to pick up the feeds of the computer machines. I mean, when you know how energy works and when you know how frequency works, and you understand bandwidth, yeah, you can make some stuff happen in the ether. So that's something that, people may want to keep one eye open for over the next few weeks and couple of months to come before the Donald gets inaugurated. Whether it'll hold any weight, that remains to be seen. Go to my YouTube channels, The Kinetic Hour, Kinetic Fit and Wellness Info. There's a lot more to talk about when it comes to this election cycle. I'm pretty sure I'll be talking about a lot. Next time, I'll definitely will go into the RFK health plans, which is huge for me because I'm into health matters. And also Project 2025, which is real. Even though the Donald denied it up and down, he said he never even knew about it, said he never read it. But it's real, and I will go over that as well in detail. We're talking about over 900 pages of policy changes. So that's coming up as well on the Kinetic Hour. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. Thank you to everyone on Facebook. Thank you to everyone on Instagram. Thank you to everyone on LinkedIn for tuning in. Thank you to YouTube, even though it's been a back and forth battle. That's another thing that I'm going to talk about as well. But thank you to everyone for tuning in to the Kinetic Hour, and tell everyone that you know to tune in to the Kinetic Hour, and tell everyone that you know, and tell them to tell everyone that they know to tune in to the Kinetic Hour. Until next time.